without further ado, I want to hear everybody's hands together for the CSL Dallas music team.
I woke up in the morning singing,
God is so good.
I got up in the morning singing,
God is so good.
I got up in the morning singing,
God is so good. My God is so good to me. Feeling good down in my soul.
God is so good.
Oh, feeling good down in my soul.
God is so good.
Feeling good down in my soul.
God is so good.
My God is so good to me.
In my time of trouble, I know
God is so good.
In my time of trouble, I know
God is so good.
In my time of trouble, I know
God is so good.
Hey.
My God is so good to me.
In my time of triumph, I know.
God is so good.
In my time of triumph, I know.
God is so good.
In my time of triumph, I know.
God is so good.
My God is so good to me. My God is so good to me. My God is so good to me.
Good morning, CSL Dallas. Woo. We pour libations in the African spirituality tradition in order to not just honor the ancestors, but to strengthen and affirm the connection between the ancestral history and experience and our current life today. We actually intend that as we pour the bounty of our current life, today represented by water, as we pour that into the earth, it softens the earth and opens the way for the foundation, the roots of all of life, to then nourish the current life and prepare it for the future. And so as this month we think about flying free, we know that we cannot fly free unless we are learning and being nourished from the past, bringing that into today and using that to fund the future. So I invite you to join me in a pouring libations experience. And if you are able, I invite you to join me in the opening prayer for that by standing and then repeating after me, including those of you who are at home or in a hotel or watching virtually. If you are able to stand, please stand and repeat after me. Ashe. I honor my ancestors. I welcome my ancestors. I am the fruit of my ancestors. And so it is. Ashe. You may be seated. As we honor our cultural ancestors and our spiritual ancestors today, I invite you to think about the names of people who have influenced you in your personal life and in your spiritual life. Flying free requires us to think about and integrate 3 spiritual principles which we are including in this process. Those 3 spiritual principles that we will focus on today are love, peace, and divine wisdom. In honor of divine wisdom, I speak the name of Howard Thurman. Please join me in saying Ashe. Ashe. In honor of divine wisdom, I speak the name of Ernest Holmes. Ashe. And now I invite you, in honor of divine wisdom, culturally and spiritually, to speak a name out loud that has nourished you as an ancestor. And together we say, Ashe. In honor of love, the love of life itself, constantly expressing, I speak the name of Maya Angelou. Ashe. I speak the name of the practitioner, Sarah Flowers. Ashe. And I invite you to speak the name that represents love for you. And together we say, Ashe. And in honor of peace, I speak the name Martin Luther King Jr. Ashe. I speak the name Dr. Daniel L. Morgan. Ashe. And I invite you to speak the names of your ancestors who represent peace. And together we say, Ashe. Let us fly free. Let us bring the nurturing of the ancestors into our lives today. Let us fly free. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.
God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. Love is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. Love is, I am.
To simply breathe. And in this moment, make eye contact with one person near you and silently say, I see you. And return the phrase, I am here. And look at someone else, I see you. And return the phrase, I am here. And go deep within and say, I see you. And return, I am here. And know that this is the presence. This is love. This is peace. This is life. This is the divine. I see you. I am here. And simply surrender to that, knowing that it holds each and every one in this room, beyond this room, this world. It holds the things that we understand, the things that we simply don't. It's big enough. It includes all and all and all, generation to generation, ancestors, those here, who are birthing now, those who are yet to come. It includes it all. I see you. I am here. So simply relax into God is. I am, and know that in this moment, in this breath, all is well. And so we affirm our time together as blessed and a blessing. And so it is.
Love is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. Love is, I am. Amen. Amen. Right here, right now. Amen. Amen. God is, I am.
Well, good morning, CSL Dallas. Have to remember to take that off. We're so grateful that you're here in the sanctuary and also in line, that you're joining us. We are excited that we're like opening up some, and we're going to continue to do that. And so you are present here with us no matter where you are, and it's great to see the ones that we see here too. Our purpose statement, and I invite you at home and here to say this with us. The reason for our being is that we are radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, transforming lives. Yes. And so it is. Yes. So we've got a few things I want to let you know. Oh, and our annual theme is Together We Rise. You know, there's an African proverb, sticks in a bundle don't break. And so when we collectively do this consciously and awaken ourselves to our spiritual truth, we rise collectively, not only in our own lives and as a community, but for the entire planet. So I'm grateful that that's our annual theme. And we've got some great classes coming up that I want to tell you about. So we have a great class starting on Monday nights, May 3rd, the first Monday in May. Who likes Joseph Campbell and myths? Yes, so you want to get in this class. If you don't know who Joseph Campbell is, you want to get in this class. He is amazing. So he's an amazing author, and he blends story and reality and valuable lessons, weaving through this whole thing called myths and archetypes and all that good stuff. And it is taught by our own practitioner, Doreen Breedlove. She is an amazing facilitator, so you want to get in that class and register now. It is strictly online. We're still doing strictly online classes for now. Also, if you're brand new, who's brand new to CSL Dallas or New Thought or, yes, to Science of Mind? Yay, yay, yay. So if that's you, we have a 2-hour experience that you do not want to miss on Sunday, May 30th. It is Keys to Expanding Consciousness. Like, this is the place to start. You want to start there. And our own Reverend Patty and B.B. Gafford, practitioner B.B. Gafford, is teaching that, so you want to register for that. It's pay as you can. So pay as you can and get in there and start expanding your consciousness. And then last but not least, beginning June 3rd with practitioner Carol Merlot, again another amazing facilitator, we have Principles of Successful Living. Anybody want to live successfully? Yeah, okay, a few of you. I don't know what the rest of y'all are going to do, though. So it's a 6 weeks course that gives you a roadmap to drive your life with the right consciousness instead of from that default thinking. Anybody got default thinking, running programming? Yeah, it's time to update our software. So this class will do that. So it's also videos that are shown weekly that feature Deepak Chopra. So if you're a Deepak fan or you just want to get in and live successfully, register for that class. So we want to give a shout out. We want to give a shout out to Google and YouTube and Facebook. So if you're here, if you're online, check in, let us know you're here. And also, who subscribes to our YouTube channel? Great. Everybody that did not raise your hand, subscribe. Subscribe. It actually is really good for this community when you subscribe to our YouTube channel. So we want you to do that. And this is a time where we invite you, if you're inside the sanctuary and you got a cell phone or you're online, you can text to give. You set it up once, 972-954-4404. It's a secure way to give. Or when you're out and about in the world and CSL Dallas runs through your heart, $5, $10, $1,000, it's only zeros. It's a bunch of nothing. So let's just, do that. But this is the time where you got to keep it funny, I guess, because it's coming through today, where we truly give to one another. So look around. You all have been given to this community all during this pandemic. And this is a time where we give to one another no matter where we are. So I invite you to give and give generously. You can do it on Facebook, on YouTube. You're watching live. There's a PayPal button right there. So we make it easy for you to give because it means significant things to this community. So we are going to continue with a beautiful, beautiful piece.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of love right now. I'm choosing love today.
I'm choosing grace.
I'm choosing grace today. I'm choosing grace today. I am walking the road of grace right now. I'm choosing grace today.
I choose compassion.
I choose compassion today. Oh, I choose compassion today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I choose compassion today.
I'm choosing joy.
I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of joy right now. I'm choosing joy today.
I choose abundance.
I choose abundance today. I choose abundance today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I choose abundance today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. I choose abundance today.
Hey, thank you. You may be seated. Here, I'll grab the water. All right. Thank you so much, Tracy and music team and band and all of our brand new teams for Sunday production, greeters and hosts. And we're kind of slowly but surely getting ourselves back in the groove. So welcome to those of you online and for all of us here in the sanctuary. Oh, man, and it's a gorgeous day to be together, isn't it? So we're talking about Unshackle the Mind this morning, and I had to stop and think about, why did I choose the word unshackle? It's kind of a weird word, isn't it? Unshackle the mind. And I thought, well, normally they talk about chains, the chains of bondage, unshackle the chains, and the chains of your mind, right? Release the chains or whatever. And all I could think of was the Christmas Carol and Marley with all those chains wrapped around, right? And all the big padlocks, and I thought, ooh, that's a lot of work. try to get rid of those chains, right? And they're dragging them down. And I realized that the reason that I picked Unshackled is, many of you may know this about me. I'm a horse lover, and so I had a horse and carriage job in Philadelphia when I was younger. For the bicentennial, I drove horse and carriages around downtown Philadelphia and gave the bicentennial tours when that first happened. And there's a lot of buckles on the harness of a horse and carriage. Let me tell you, it takes a very long time to back a horse in and start buckling all of that up. And then at the end, when you're done for the day and you bring everything back to the, it was really a garage in downtown Philadelphia, believe it or not. And they, it's a lot of individual buckles. But for me, somehow, that idea of one buckle at a time actually feels more doable than this giant chain that we're wrapped in, right? That our mind is chained by false beliefs or old ideas. But really what we're doing is we're unshackling it one buckle at a time, one false belief, one old pattern of thinking, one limitation, or simply one idea about our sense of separation. And so it's actually my experience over the years that I've done this kind of work. You can actually feel it. You can see it. One buckle at a time, unshackling we don't have to get the whole chain off before we start feeling free. I guess is really the point, right? We begin to feel that loosening. We begin to feel the freedom as we work and we do one thing at a time. So I have 4 key elements that I want to talk about today, 4 key things in terms of how we can unshackle our minds. We talked about awakening our heart last week, and so this week we're talking about how do we bring our mind in onto the game of flying free. So the first thing is that I want to talk about, the very first thing we talk about this a lot in our classes. If you haven't taken a class, please do sign up. To unshackle our mind, the very first thing we have to do is we actually have to pay attention to what's going on in our minds. What buckles need to be unbuckled? And how many are there? And how are they all in a row? Are they just all in a row, one right after another? Or do they have some over here and some over here? And right? So we have to pay attention. We call that paying attention to our self-talk. Paying attention is the first piece. Self-talk is the first idea I want to talk about. And the first thing to do with self-talk is we have to start paying attention to our self-talk. But paying attention to it isn't enough. It isn't enough to notice our self-talk. What we actually want to do is be in charge of our self-talk. That's what we actually want to do. We want to be talking to ourselves instead of our brain talking to ourselves. Right? You know what happens when our brain talks to us? We get the committee. Do you have a committee? I have a committee. There's a lot of people on that committee, and they all have things to say, which I no longer want to hear. That doesn't jive with who I am, who I want to be, or how I want my life to be. And so what I have to do is I have to decide that I'm the chairman of my own committee, and I have to dismiss all those other people, and I have to decide what I'm going to talk to myself about. So I had this revelation as I think about the talk for quite a while. I start planning it over the week. And so I had a lovely massage. I had a birthday gift. I had a lovely massage. It was fabulous. I was laying on my massage and I was thinking about the talk. And all of a sudden I realized that what I've learned to do on the massage table is the entire time I'm being massaged, my brain is saying, let go, let go. Let go. Let go. Just let go. Rather than thinking about what I should do tomorrow, rather than falling asleep, rather than trying to relax, rather than actually trying to do anything at all, what I'm doing is I'm having my self-talk participate in what's going on. And of course, with a really good massage therapist, it's those hurt so good moments. And I don't go, ouch. And I don't go, where does that come from? And I don't go, oh, God, I have that pain again. And I don't go, oh, I always carry my tension there. I don't go any of those places. My self-talk, let go. Let go. Let go. Do you see, that's what it means to use our minds to pay attention to our self-talk and then pay attention to what it's doing, to decide what it's doing, to engage, using our minds to engage with what we're doing in the way we want to engage, as opposed to talking to ourselves about how awful it is, about how hard it is, about all the things that have to be done, and blah, 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 blah. So I reflected on the other most recent experience I had about this, and many of you know I had a horrific fall last August in our cabin, broke some ribs. They thought I might have broken my back, and it was terrible, and bruises all over my body. And so I laid in a camp chair. I laid in a camp chair for 4 weeks, basically. 2 weeks virtually not being able to move, and the other 2 weeks kind of, gingerly walking around. I was pretty mad the first 2 days. Like, what? I'd completely ruined my vacation. Couldn't I just enjoy my vacation once instead of having it be this big trauma? So I had a big revelation. I had lots of good spiritual revelation around all of that. And so once I had my revelation, then I laid in that camp chair, and I thought, well, I have one of two choices. I can lay here resentful, or I can lay here and use my mind to support the healing process. So what I did is I laid there and I blessed every cell of my body. I blessed every cell of my body that it knew how to knit together. It knew how to deal with the bruises. It knew how to knit the bones together. I just laid there and blessed my body, blessed its intelligence, blessed its wisdom. I blessed Karen for taking on all of the work that had to be done in the cabin, because I couldn't do a thing. I blessed everything I could think to bless, because otherwise, what? It was lay there being resentful, right? Well, I'll tell you what, resentfulness is about 17 buckles. Right? All snapped together. So rather than staying shackled in that resentment, do you see, these are the choices that we have when we pay attention to our self-talk. We have the opportunity to decide what we are going to say to ourselves, how we are going to talk about what's going on, and how we're going to use that to use our minds to support us as opposed to keeping us bound, right? So the first topic in unshackling the mind is paying attention to our self-talk and then choosing how we're going to talk to ourselves about what's going on. That's the first thing. Now, the second piece is something that all metaphysicians have heard about. If you've been in spirituality for any length of time at all, you've heard about it. And most of us have long dismissed it because we're so spiritual we don't need this tool anymore. But this is one of my favorite tools in the whole wide world, and it is the tool of affirmation. Yeah, I know. You all know about affirmations, right? But the reality of it is an affirmation is one of the most powerful ways to take charge of what's going on in our minds. The way that we unshackle our mind is we take charge of it and we start unbuckling things because we are deciding what we're going to think about, right? Straight neuroplasticity. This is straight neuroplasticity. If our synapses fire together based on what we are thinking and talking and speaking about and paying attention to over and over and over again, emotionally, mentally, right? We are firing those synapses together. And for them to release and for us to get a new pathway, we have to think about the new thing as much as we've thought about the old thing. I really want you to hear that. If you've worried all day, day after day after day after day about something, and you've gnawed at it and wondered about it and thought about it and and all blah and blah. Okay, just think for a moment how many hours you've just spent on that thing. How many hours do you spend on an affirmation? 2 minutes? 3 minutes? Maybe twice a day? Do you see, the relationship is not going to work. So I have have 6 key things I want to talk to you about affirmations. Short, sweet, and to the point. 6 key things really important to make an affirmation that you can use as much as you worry about or talk about the thing you don't want. Right? Affirmations. 6 short reasons for short affirmations. So if you want an affirmation that's really going to work, 7 words or less. No paragraphs. 7 words or less. 10 maximum. I can't remember 10 words. I can only remember 7. Then maybe that's my own limitation, right? Short. 10 words maximum. Why? Why a short, punchy affirmation? First, you can remember it. You can remember it in any situation all the time, no matter how off-center you are. A short affirmation, you can remember it. 2, therefore, you can say it anywhere or at any time. You can say it driving in your car. You can say it sitting in the doctor's office. You can say it when your spouse is yelling at you. You can say it when you're yelling at your kid. You can say it when you're feeling bad. You can say it when you're feeling good. You can say it anywhere, anytime. Doesn't matter what is going on. You can say it in the grocery store. You can say it in a traffic stop. You can say it anywhere, anytime. And with a 7-word affirmation that is short and punchy, that you can remember and say anywhere and any time, the ability to repetitively hammer it into your brain uses neuroplasticity to rewire your synapses. Remember what we just said about how much we've been using our brain to talk about, think about, and worry about? And, right, we have to equal that in intensity and duration with our affirmations. A long affirmation, we're not going to be able to do 100, 1,000 times in an hour, 10 hours a day, 10 days, which is probably how much worry and mental energy we've spent on the thing that we want to shift. 4, long ones are read and don't have the emotional or repetitive impact. So when we do a long affirmation and paragraph, it's all nice and flowery, and usually we want to cram as many words into it as we can because we really want to fix our whole life at once, right? It has no emotional content. By the end of reading a paragraph or a paragraph and a half, you're just reading it, right? Yeah, okay, good. That, right, where there's no emotional content and we aren't getting the repetitive hammer that we need to build a new synaptic pathway. The synaptic pathway is built by the affirmative version of the Chinese water torture. Drip, 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 drip. Right? We want to keep continue repetition. And repetition with emotional content can really help. But it truthfully is the repetition that makes the difference, because we're literally building a new groove in consciousness. We're literally building a new synaptic pathway. We're literally creating a new thought pattern by doing it. And it has to have that same kind of repetitive thing. So many of you have heard me tell the story. I became a non-smoker by 3 months of an affirmation. I'm a non-smoker. 3 non-stop repetitive affirmations. The same affirmation over and over and over and over again. And finally, one of the best things about affirmations, I love this one. This is my favorite. Repetitive rapid-fire affirmations create white noise in our brain and keep us focusing on what we want to focus on while disciplining our minds not to go down the old pattern of thinking. It's literally a screen between you and the worry and the conversation and the talking and the da-da-da-da-da that's going on, right? The repetitive affirmations is literally a screen that you're putting up between what you've decided to think about and what your brain wants to think about. This is my favorite thing because, well, I don't really want to affirm it, but they say you can only think about one thing at a time. That has not been my experience. I can actually do an affirmation and worry about something at the same time. I think I'm not alone with that, right? So I literally, I don't know if I should confess this. Karen and I have just, over the last, I don't know how many weeks, we've just seen all the Marvel movies in timeline order. Oh my God. Which I'd only probably seen 3 or 4 of them anyway. So we just, that was our binge this last month. And so Thor with his hammer, right? Right? That swirly hammer. I mean, that's essentially what we're doing with a rapid fire, repetitive affirmation. I think literally you're creating a smoke screen between you and all of that nonsense that you don't want to get caught in. And so if we can create that smoke screen, right, our brain can't get caught. And now we can stay on this side over here where we've decided to. So the first 2 keys to things to unshackle our mind, one is to direct our self-talk, and 2, short, punchy affirmations. Now I have 2 more that I want to talk about. After Cornell comes up here and plays a fabulous piece of music, because we want to shift the energy a little bit. Yes, we're going to applaud Cornell in just a second. We want to shift the energy just a little bit because these first 2 are very deliberate, directive, very, active, engaged. The other 2 are a little more receptive, a little more open, right? So Cornell's going to come up here, and he's going to shift us into that state. So now, at home or here in the sanctuary, you can welcome Cornell. Yay, thank you so much, Cornell. Is that your own piece?
Yes.
Is that, tell us the name of it.
Yes, this is called Returning Home.
Returning Home. Thank you so much, Cornell. Thank you so much, Brad. Beautiful. Returning Home. Yeah, so that's what we want to talk about now. These two ideas, these two practices that allow us to return home to ourselves, which is a cornerstone to unshackling our mind. I want to read you this quote by Ernest Holmes. Our consciousness expands through meditation and contemplation, through conscious communion with the invisible. Spiritual experience comes in the stillness of the soul when the outer voice is quiet. Now, that outer voice isn't just this outer voice out here of people and the media and, you know, all that stuff that's coming at us all the time. It's not just that outer voice. It's also the outer voice of our brain. It's that committee. It's those unconscious patterns that are running in our brain. And so the two things I want to talk about now are meditation and contemplation as really powerful tools that help us unshackle the mind. So the first one, meditation, is so important because meditation is the practice that provides us with the awareness of the space in which our thoughts are happening. Usually we have thoughts or we have feelings, and we're so tightly identified with those thoughts and feelings that they feel like us, right? And because they feel like us, because we've had a thought or a feeling, then we give it credibility, like it matters, like it's meaningful, when it could be completely capable. I don't know which is the right one. We need to not identify with our thoughts and feelings. And so meditation, one of the primary, not just benefits, but one of the primary things that we're doing in our meditation practice is we are practicing sensing into the space, the field of awareness, the field of consciousness in which thoughts and feelings are happening. Right? Because we don't try to not have thoughts. We don't try to not have anything go on, because it's never going to happen, because our synapses are constantly firing. It's not about not having thoughts. It's not about not having feelings or sensations when we do meditation. It's about becoming so spacious that we don't get caught by our thought. We don't get caught by the emotion. We don't get caught by the feeling. We can sense it, observe it, watch it. We can watch it go by, because we know that there's this larger thing happening, which is actually our awareness, which is the field of consciousness, which is not only our awareness, but is the field of consciousness, which is the universality of the truth of our being. And so in the meditation practice, which when we're doing it without music, without relaxation, without things to engage our minds, right? We don't want to do a meditation where something else is engaging our mind. Our meditation practice begins to give us the discipline to pay attention to our self-talk. It gives us the discipline to think about what we want to think about. And in doing so, it gives us the awareness of this space. And the more time that we can spend in the awareness of the spaciousness of the field of consciousness, the less impactful our thoughts and feelings have, as if they were who we are. This spaciousness unshackles the mind in a way that no other tool can. So there's lots of ways to learn meditation, right? The most important thing is that we're not listening to music laying back in our chair, trying to leave and go out into the universe, have some out-of-body experience, right? All of that's wonderful, super fun. I listen to, New Age music and spa music on Pandora as much as the next one, but not in my meditation. We actually want to create space, and if there's music, if there's noise, if there's activity, and if I'm in that place where I'm almost going to fall asleep, I'm not creating space and I'm not paying attention. So in our meditation practice, when we breathe or we focus on the breath is the easiest thing to do, right? And we continue to focus on the breath, and we simply allow ourselves to watch a thought go by. Deepak Chopra calls it paying attention to the gap. He talks about the gap between the words of a thought or between thought. I think of it as the field around it. People talk about thinking of our thoughts and feelings as clouds that go by or leaves on a stream. Well, you can spend so much time imagining your thought as a leaf on the stream that you're utterly invested in your thought, right? Because you're making the leaf, is it a maple leaf, is it red, what kind of a leaf it is, and we're all engaged in the leaf, right? Okay, we might as well be thinking the thought. No, the point is to watch the stream. Do you see? The point is to watch the stream and let the leaves float by between you and the stream. The point, if you are imagining it as clouds, is to watch the sky behind the clouds and to simply allow the clouds to pass. So we don't want to invest all this mental energy in making the thought into a cloud and kind of, and oh, there's another cloud. No, look, oh my God. Do you see what I'm? We're just now invested in the clouds as much as we were in the thought. But the imagery is good because if we imagine that our thought is like a cloud, it isn't a cloud, but it's like a cloud that is moving across the sky, we can, in our intentionality, we can send our awareness to the sky, to the field. Do you see what I'm saying? And now we're aware of this space, this field in which things are happening. To unshackle the mind, do you see we are shifting the mind's focus from what's happening in the brain to what's happening in consciousness. And we are completely changing its orientation. This unshackles the mind in no other way than in a way that no other thing that I know of can do, to create that spaciousness in our consciousness. Finally, Ernest Holmes, let's go back to the quote. Meditation and contemplation through conscious communion with the invisible. Spiritual experience comes in the stillness of the soul when the outer voice is quiet. Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind, he speaks a lot about things, and he calls it meditation, and what actually it is contemplation. So contemplation is deciding to put a cloud in your sky of awareness, or to put a particular leaf on your stream and allow that to reveal itself to you in this spaciousness. So what that means is you take this place of spaciousness, and now we unshackle the mind by contemplating ideas that are either paradoxical, because they're either paradoxical or they're very difficult for our brain to actually figure out. Things like oneness, infinity. How can I be part of a universal and still be an individual? What does it mean to know that my intention co-creates? How do I understand the universal principle? What is love from a spiritual point of view? Do you see, we can now take these seemingly almost impossible concepts that are foundational to our experience of the nature of reality from a spiritual point of view. And we can now place them one at a time in this spacious field of consciousness and let them sit there. And because we're not thinking about them, analyzing them, worrying them, right? We're letting them sit there in this spacious field of consciousness. They will reveal themselves to us. Infinity will reveal itself to you. The deep experience of what it means to be an individual and the universal at the same time begins to reveal itself in this infinite spaciousness. Because our brain isn't herring off in 47 million directions. Because by now, we have enough discipline and enough consciousness and enough awareness to stay focused for periods of time on whatever it is that we've decided to spend our attention on. And do you see, when we spend our mental attention on something, we begin to own it. And when we begin to own it, we begin to embody it. When we embody it, we become it. When we become it, we realize we were always that in the first place. Do you see? It's no longer an idea which I'm trying to reach. I'm actually allowing the idea to reveal itself in my awareness. And man, you want to blow the buckles off your mind, right? It's to take some of these ideas. How can I be whole when my body isn't? How can I be happy when I see the things that are going on in the world? How can I contribute to meaningful change when I feel so small? Do you see? These are all things that can be put into that creative field, that infinite spacious field, and they will reveal themselves to us. Our mind will do that work instead of being haired off with by what our brain is used to thinking about. Do you see the difference? Because our brain is where the neuroplasticity is required. Our brain is based on habits. Our mind is based on this spacious field in which we get to play. So, to unshackle the mind, self-talk, affirmations, meditation, and contemplation. Really powerful tools that we can learn and practice. And I don't care how much you don't think you can do it. I speak from very personal experience that we can all practice these things. That's why we have classes and all the things that we do together. So this week, pick one. Pick one of those 4 things and decide that's what you're going to do this week to unshackle your mind. And to help us celebrate that unshackling, we're going to bring Cornell and the band back up here for a beautiful piece called Painted Sky.
Cornell. Thank you, Cornell. All right. You know, while Cornell was playing, I just saw this painted sky, all these colors and all of the hues and all the beauty in the sky, and it's one sky, isn't it? It's not two skies. And the thing that I love about our faith is that we say that there's only one thing happening, and as there's God is all there is, we are each an individualized expression of it. And so it holds itself the same way at all times. So I want to do a spiritual mind treatment this morning because there are moments, especially in this country, where certain people aren't held the same way. They're not met the same way. They don't have the same experience that I have. I want to be very clear before I start the spiritual mind treatment that I am for peace officers. And that's the vision that I hold. And that every single person in this country that wears a uniform serves and holds the peace. I hold the vision that this country, that as I watch in Europe, very few people are shot and killed. I moved to do this spiritual mind treatment because I know that there are people in our community that are having more and more conversations with their children, and they're getting more complicated. There's a mother in this sanctuary right now that I happen to know that is having conversations with their 16-year-old son about, as he prepares to drive. I don't hold the vision for that life about make sure you use the turn signal. Make sure you don't have anything on your rearview mirror. Make sure you keep your hands on the steering wheel. Make sure you say yes, sir. Make sure. I hold the vision that all people are served equally and with equity in this country. This has been going on for so long, way too long. And the only thing that's changed is we're starting to see more and more videos. I hold the vision that there are systems in place that serve everyone. And if you, like me, hold that vision, I invite you to go within. Going into this infinite field of grace, this infinite field of love, that which unabashedly gives to itself so freely, so exquisitely, that all of life outpictures as this one life, this one love, this one light. Knowing that this one love knows how to bring its highest self forward, for it is infinite intelligence, it is divine wisdom, it is peace, and it is the greatest power that ever has been and ever shall be, the power of boundless love, showing up for itself and as itself. And as this one life and this one power is this, I know that I am that I am. I am the place of peace. I am the place of boundless love. I am the place of infinite intelligence. I am the place of divine right action. And as I know that this is the truth in the reality of my life as the one life, I absolutely know that this is the truth of every single person breathing in this moment right here and right now. We are the cells of the one body. And yes, there are different cells within the one body with different expressions and different ways in which it shows up and different functionality, and yet it's this whole circle, this circulatory system of this one body of life, and every cell within it is significant. Every cell within it matters. Every cell of these individualized expression is still the one body of life itself. And as the one body of life, I speak the word right here and right now. I speak the word that there is infinite intelligence that knows how to bring peace, justice, boundless love, equity forward in our lifetime right here and right now. I know that every child can breathe easily walking down the street. I know that every person can sit in their living room with ease and grace. I know that every person can be free to fly free without fear. I know that we each see each other as that magnificent expression of the one. We see our differences, and yet we don't hold each other as different, for we are the cells within this one body, so magnificently expressed. So I know that Black lives get to move about freely and let go of this fear. Brown bodies, yellow bodies, all bodies, for it's the one body of life itself. I know that this is a topic we no longer have to discuss. I know this is a topic we no longer have to pray about. I declare equity, justice, peace, love, right here, right now. And so I release these words into the universal law. I need not know how. There is no precedent to our cause and our case. So I let them loose. I let them go. And so it is. I know we have more topics to pray about, but that was the one for today. And we got a topic that I want to share with you. So just move with the topics from flute to prayer to, we want to let you know that we are so excited that the TSRW, which is this stuff, this science, this spirituality, and this shit really works. So much so that it transforms lives. Did y'all know that? Well, in a little less than 2 years, this stuff has transformed Oscar's life tremendously. That's the good news. It has. It's transformed his life. He talks about it all the time. Most of the people that he knows in the acting field has not had the true success. In fact, they don't have work. But he's had tremendous success. And dadgummit, he's had so much tremendous success, and he has some NDAs that he can't even talk about, that he's given notice as our music director. And that's the good news. He's given notice, and plenty of notice, because he's our family. He's part of the family of CSL Dallas, and he's not going away. I want you to know that. So he'll speak to that himself so you can hear it straight from him. But so we're going to post today and start looking for a new music director. And that's the great news. We've had him for a season and for a reason. And we still have him for a lifetime, just so you know. So Oscar, you want to say anything?
No, I'm not going anywhere. It sounds super dramatic. I'm not leaving. I'm just stepping back as your music director, but I'm still in the music team. I'll still be in the choir. I'll still be singing you guys on Sundays. I ain't going nowhere. So don't worry, don't fret. I'm still going to be hanging out with Peter and Karen, dreaming up new fun things we can do together. So I'm not going nowhere. I ain't leaving you guys. You guys are my family. You got me forever. So don't even worry about it. I'm still...
All right.
Great to hear all the secrets.
Yes.
We think he has some incredible roles he's about to tell us
I do,
about.
but not yet. Can't talk about that. But what I can talk about this morning is some really, really exciting stuff that's coming up in CSL Dallas to help you stay spiritually connected and spiritually inspired. And all of this stuff that you hear about right now can be found on csldallas.org. You can sign up all of it from our website. So first of all, our National Day of Prayer is May 8th. And CSL Dallas is joining Christians of all denominations, Sikhs, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, and other faith traditions which reflect the diversity of faiths practiced in the U.S. Join us as we continue to celebrate this connection of faith, because Lord knows we need it now more than ever. So, Saturday, May 8th, 7 to 9 p.m. It's hosted by Doreen Breedlove. It's in person as well as online. But if you want to show up in person, please RSVP at csldallas.org. And also, this month is, we're signing up for Step Out in Faith, and that's happening in May. It's going to be amazing. We got a sneak peek of the program this year. It's going to be so epic. Reverend Patty and Peter have been working their butts off. It's going to be amazing. So you can sign up all of this month. And if you have any questions at all, you can email revpatty@csldallas.org. So what this is it's a month-long program where the Sunday talks is synergized with the work study workbook, with our videos, and everything is connected all month of May. So please don't miss out on it. Check it out at csldallas.org. Finally, watch your texts. On Friday, we sent out a text, and that's when we release seats for our Sunday celebration. So if you see that text and you want to come that Sunday, get on that and just start reserving seats for you and your family. And then also for the folks in here, we aren't doing offering the same as before. There will be baskets as you leave. Also, there's links you can donate to on our Facebook chat that Ryan will be posting right now. And then, of course, immediately following service, we have a Zoom room full of practitioners who will pray with you and for you. And we will let you know as soon as they're able to be here in person with all of us on campus. So, for all of you, I'm freaking out that I'm seeing so many beautiful faces. Thank you for being with us this morning. And everyone online, thank you for joining us. You are seen, you are loved. We miss you, we love you. So we're going to sing it out. We're going to dance it out with Love Be With You.
Hand in hand, we see the light, we take a stand, and we are changing a whole new life for you and me. Take your past and set it free, and share this blessing. Love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come through you, make it flow to you. Let joy renew you until we meet again. Love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come through you, make it flow to you. Let joy renew you